In this video, we'll cover everything there is to know about the police clearance certificate. So if you're in the United States and applying under express entry, or you're in India being sponsored under family class, you need to provide police clearance certificates. We'll cover all of that. I'm going to leave timestamps in the video, so feel free to jump around. My name is Suyash. I make instruction videos for YouTube, and if you're drunk driving right now, I'd recommend pull over so that we can begin. Okay, so the best way I can show this to you is to go through a couple of most popular scenarios and then learn how to get police certificates for those. So the number one scenario we are going to look at right now is you're in the US, you've submitted your express entry profile, you've received your invitation, and now you need a police certificate. So when applying from the US for express entry or provincial nomination, you need two police certificates. Number one is the identity history summary check from the FBI, and second is the police clearance certificate for India. Okay, so we'll go over both those one by one. Let's start with the FBI. Okay, so get to this page. It's linked in the description below, so if you've been following my other videos, you know the drill. Follow along. Okay, then scroll down and select a country or territory. So you're going to select United States, then click find out how to apply. Okay, and then you'll get to this page, how to get a police certificate United States. Okay, scroll down and click on this link, request an identity history summary from the FBI online. Okay, once you do that, you will get to this page, the identity history summary checks page of the official FBI website. Okay, then scroll down and you will get to this section, how to submit a request. Okay, so here you have a couple of ways to do that. There's an online electronic way to do that, and then there is a direct physical way to do that where you submit your request via mail. I am going to advise against the second option because it's going to take longer, but it's good to know that there is a physical option available just in case the electronic option gets suspended temporarily or something. Okay, but for the purposes of this video, we'll look at the online option. Okay, so under option 1, electronically submit your request directly to the FBI. Under step 1, you will click on this link, edo.cjis.gov. Okay, once you get to this page, then you scroll down and you will have all the instructions on how to submit a request here. Okay, so the first step you do is to enter your email address here. Okay, and hit submit. As soon as you do that, you will receive an email in your inbox which you will have to open and verify. Okay, that will lead you to the next step. So let's do that. So as you can see, I've received an email from Criminal Justice Department, Identity History Summary Request. Open it and you will be given a PIN, a 6-digit PIN, which you will have to enter later. So click on that link that says here and copy this PIN. Okay, then hit continue, and this is where you type in the PIN which you received in your email. Okay, alright, just scroll down and hit accept some basic terms of agreement and continue, and this is where you put in your information. Okay, so last name, first name, date of birth, place of birth. For most of you, this is going to be India. Then US citizen or legal permanent resident. So check no. Most of you would not have the permanent resident or citizenship. So just check no. If you have either, then check yes. And then also, why are you watching this video for express entry? You made it. You are living the American dream. So get out of this video. Otherwise, check no and follow along. Okay. Country of citizenship. So for most of you, this is going to be India, but just write your country of citizenship here, whatever it may be. Country of residence, so this is going to be United States, so just select the first option, including APO, FPO, don't worry about this. Prisoner number, so this only applies if you have been incarcerated. So I hope you didn't hit anyone with the car, you didn't have significant DUI, you didn't get arrested, so you just leave this blank. Just put your social security number. By this time, if you've spent enough time in US, you must have a SSN. Okay, so just list your 7-digit SSN here. Sex, like it. Also list the sex that you are, and race, choose from the list. For most of you, the Asian race would apply. All right, and then check next. Mailing address. So this is the current residential address for you, where FBI would actually physically mail in the copy of your police history, the identity history. Okay, so just list your current residential address in US here. So let me quickly skim through that part while you enjoy the beautiful background music. All right, then hit next. Would you like your date of birth included on your response? I mean, it doesn't really make much difference, but just check yes for verification purposes. It will help. So yes. Would you like to receive status notifications? Yes, via email. And would you like to have a hard copy response? So because the electronic copy is sufficient and is allowed by IRCC, you don't really need a hard copy. You just need to upload a soft copy. So you can just select no, but if you want a hard copy for your records, by all means select yes. It's not going to cost you a fortune. Check next. How would you like to submit your fingerprint card? So you have two options: mail, which means physically mail in your fingerprint card to the FBI address, or electronic submission via third party. So choose this option. It's going to be quicker, and it's also going to eliminate a lot of travel and waiting times and processing times. Okay. So once you select the electronic submission, you will have a bunch of third-party addresses open up for you. So based on your vicinity, you will have a couple of USPS facilities pop up in this list. So select which is closer to you. You will have to actually go in there with your invitation to apply from IRCC and all the required documents, which we are going to take a look in a second. Go there, get your fingerprinting done, and then that third-party facility is directly going to electronically submit your fingerprints to the FBI. So you won't actually have to physically mail in the card. Just go to this location, get your fingerprinting done, and then they will send it over to the FBI. Okay, and then in a week's time, you will receive your response in your email. This is just for information purpose. So save down these addresses based on whichever is closer to you, and then check next. Once you do that, then you will have the option for payment. So just click on proceed to payment, and then your mailing address, date of birth, and your information will pop up. Make sure it's correct. You will receive a pop-up saying your application was received. You will be redirected to pay.gov to process your payment. So check OK, and then you will get to the payment gateway. So this is pretty straightforward because I've already done this. I'm not going to make the payment. Select the debit or credit card account. It's the quickest. You know the drill. Just enter your card details, your CVV, your expiry date, make the payment. Okay. So once you've made the payment, then you will receive an email which is going to look just like this one, but it's going to say confirmation of your request, and it's going to have an order number, a reference number, and the details about how you indicated to receive your FBI clearance certificate. Okay, so take the printout of that email, not this one, but the email that you receive after your payment. It's going to cost you about $18 to $20. So take that printout when you actually go to the fingerprinting, so which is going to be our next step. All right, so just take the printout and then let's get to the next step. So once you have made the payment, then you get back to this page, the overview page, and then you scroll down, and if you select this option, submit your fingerprints, you will have a list of participating post office locations. So click on that, and then these are the locations based on where you live. You can get your fingerprints done. Okay, so select the location which is closest to where you live, which falls in your jurisdiction, and then you can just call them and make an appointment for fingerprinting. So your fingerprinting card is going to look something like that. You can take the printout of this card with you to the fingerprinting center, but you don't really need to because they will have that. So just to be safe, you can. Some centers might just need the applicants to bring the fingerprinting card with them. So take this card along with your invitation to apply, the payment confirmation, your residential address proof, and your passport to the fingerprinting center. Okay, and then what's going to happen is once you get there, they are going to take your fingerprints. They are going to directly electronically transfer those fingerprints to the FBI portal, because remember, you indicated electronic transfer, so you won't actually have to mail them. If you select the mailing option, then you will still have to go to this center with the same documents, get your fingerprinting done, but then they are just going to hand you this card. Take that card and then you will simply mail this card to this address listed here, FBI CJIS division. Okay, you only have to do this if you are doing it offline, but you want to do it online, it's quicker, you'll get the response in a week or so. Okay, so once you're done with your fingerprinting, then you wait for a week or so, and then you will receive an email from Criminal Justice Department with your identity history summary, and it's going to look something like this. So this is the FBI clearance certificate that you'll receive in your email. Okay, and it's going to say that there's no criminal record, and the basic fingerprint search has indicated no prior arrest data at the FBI, and this will work as admissible in Canada. Okay, so once you get this certificate, download it and then upload it to your IRCC profile, and that will take care of your FBI clearance. Now that we are done with the FBI clearance certificate, we look at how to get the police clearance certificate from India. Okay, when you're staying in the US. Okay, so the first thing, obviously come back to this page, select your country as India, find out how to apply, and it'll give you the details about the police clearance certificate and what you need and how to get it. Okay, so under this section, how to apply, you will have a couple of options, and you want to go to this link, Indian Embassy or Consulate, because that is where you will apply for your PCC. Okay, so once you click there, you will be taken to this link. Okay, then you scroll down and you can select Americas here. So just select United States of America, and then you will be taken to this page, Embassy of India, Washington DC, USA. So click this link. Alright, so once you are in this link, then you can select consular services and miscellaneous attestation services. And what I'm going to do is I'm directly going to link this indianembassy.usa.gov.in link in the description below, so you don't have to navigate all that. So just directly come to this link, consular services, miscellaneous attestation services. Okay, then scroll down until you see police clearance certificate for Indian nationals. So just click here and then you get to this page. All right, so this is what you're going to do now. The first thing is to click on this link, passportindia.gov.in. Okay, and then you will be taken to this page, Passport Seva at Indian embassies and consulates. So the first thing you'll do is to click on register. Okay, this is where you will create an account on the passportindia.gov website. So the first thing you see here is the embassy or consulate. Okay, so to find what embassy or consulate applies to you, you go back to this page. Okay, and then you'll see a link here, consular jurisdiction. So click that, and then under consular jurisdiction, you will have a list of jurisdictions which apply to your state. So whichever state you are in the US, find that state in this table and then see which jurisdiction applies to you. So let's say you are in Delaware, or let's say you are in North Carolina, then jurisdiction of Washington DC will apply to you. So this is what you are going to select in your portal here. Okay, so let's just select Washington DC here. Then this is where you fill out your details. I'm just going to quickly skim through this part. Okay, so once you have all this information ready, just hit enter and then you will have an account ready to log in. Okay, so once you've done that, then you will receive an email in your inbox which you will have to open and verify. So it's going to look something like this from the passportadmin@passportindia.gov. So click that link, you will be taken to your account activation page. This is where you enter your ID and it will activate your account. Okay, so then what you do is you go back to this page and then you click on user login, and this is where you're going to log into your passport services. Okay, so once you log into your account, then you will get to this page. Okay, so scroll down and under apply for police clearance certificate, you will select this link. Alright, so there's a couple of pages on this application. You'll fill these out, you'll print out the form, and then you will take it to the designated consulate on the day of your appointment. Okay, so more on that later, but let's fill out these details first. So purpose of PCC is immigration purpose other than citizenship. Country for which? Canada. Alright, so the next 5 fields are basically information from your passport. Okay, so just use your front and back of the passport to populate this information. Okay, so the passport number, issue, place and expiry, all this information is on the first page of your passport. The file number will be the large number on the last page of your passport that says file number. Okay, once you have this information ready, then click next. And this is where you will provide your personal details. Okay, so I'm quickly going to skim through this. Okay, and then you will have to enter your Aadhaar number if your country of citizenship is India. So just list your Aadhaar number here. And then you will get to the family details page. Okay, so this is where you provide details about your family. And this is where you provide details about your residential address in India and also in the US. Okay, list your address in India which is listed on your passport. It should match your passport. Okay, once you've filled these fields, then the police station box will populate and you will have a list to choose from. So make sure that the city that you choose here has the police station and applies to your PIN code. Okay, and this is pretty easy to find out. So you can just Google what police station applies in your jurisdiction. So I'm just going to select that applies to mine and then email address. Alright, so if you scroll down, this is the address you will provide for the country you're currently living in. So we are doing this from the US, so you will write down the US residential address. Okay, then hit next. And then there's a bunch of questions that you will have to answer. So provide the following details if there are any criminal proceedings. Are there proceedings in respect of an offense? Just check no. Has any warrant or summons been issued? No. So this should all be no. Okay, so be very careful during your stay in the US because these factors can impact your migration to Canada. Then hit next. So check that everything looks okay, then hit next. And then you will get the preview of the PCC form which you are going to print out. Okay, so make sure it all looks okay and it is correct. Hit I agree and just write the place from where you are doing the application right now. So let's say it is New Jersey and hit submit. And then you'll receive a confirmation that your application is complete with a reference number. So click on home. And then if you scroll down, you will have an application form ready here. So select that and select print application form. And this is the form that you will print out and take to the consulate on the day of your appointment. It does have a paste your unsigned recent color photograph here, which says size 2x2. So have a photograph ready and pasted on this section and signed so that before you take this form to the embassy, you are ready with the completed form. Then once you have this form ready, the next step would be to actually apply, make an appointment with VFS Global, and that is what we are going to look at next. Okay, so now that you have your application form ready from the passportindia.gov website, the next step is to actually send all the required documents for clearance. So because of COVID, the walk-in is suspended temporarily, so you won't be able to make an appointment to a consulate. So what you'll have to do is you will have to prepare your application packet with all the supporting documents and send them over to the consulate address using a third-party service known as VFS Global. So we are going to do that next. Okay, so the first step is to get to this page, vfs.global, and I'm going to link this exact link in the description below. So I would recommend click on that and follow along. And once you get to apply for police clearance certificate, you can scroll down and there is a step-by-step guide on how you will create your application here. Use the information from what you did in the passportindia.gov website and then submit your package for clearance. Okay, so if you don't have an account on this portal, which I'm guessing you wouldn't, then what you have to do is on the third step here, complete mail-in application process, which is mandatory. You click on view more and you will have to check this apply now because you don't have a profile. Okay, so click on that and it's going to take you to this page. Just scroll down and hit I accept. This is where you select the police clearance certificate and then you select proceed. Alright, so this is where you'll provide your first name, last name, email ID, mobile number, make a password, and then you will be registered on the VFS Global portal. Okay, so I've already done that, so I'm just going to skip this part. As soon as you register, you will receive an email which is going to look something like this from VFS Global. So click that link to activate your account. Unless you do that, you won't be allowed to log in. Okay, so my account is already activated, but this won't be the case for you. So do the activation, and once you have activated, then come back to this page. Okay, then when you see the option here already created profile, you will click here. Okay, hit I accept again, police clearance, proceed, and this is where you'll select back to login, and now you will enter your details. Okay, so once you log in, you'll get to this page. You'll hit the create new application button here. Okay, and this is where you provide your details. So visiting country and residing country will already be pre-populated and grayed out, so leave them as they are. Center, so for the center, this is going to be the same center that you chose in your passport Seva application. So verify which center applies to you and then select that center. For me, because I lived in Delaware, the Washington DC center applied to me, so I'm just going to select Washington DC. Then main category is PCC, and application category is, so you'll have two options: applying at the same consular post and city from where your current passport was issued, or applying from a different consular post. So let's say your passport was issued in India, then you will select this, applying from a different consular post. But my passport expired in the US and it was issued from the Washington DC consulate, so it was the same as this center that I'm applying the PCC for, so I'm going to select the applying at the same consular post. Okay, and select application type, postal. Select payment mode, go with the online payment by debit or credit card, it's going to be quicker, and hit continue. Then you'll get to this page. So this is where you click on add customer. Okay, and this is where you'll provide further details. So government reference number is the number that was on the passportindia.gov form that you just created. So you're simply going to go back to this page, get this number, and paste it back here. Once you have your ARN ready, then you will have to provide other details such as passport, date of birth, expiry, nationality. So I'm just quickly going to skim through that part. Just click on OK once you are ready to submit. Okay, so once you do that, your profile will be added. Okay, so then under select courier service, you will select the VFS offered courier service. It's just quicker and easy to do. This is basically the service that you'll use to send in your application packet, and then VFS to send in the packet back to you. Okay, and then the FedEx would most likely be the pre-populated courier service provider. So hit continue, and then it's going to give you a breakdown of your total fee. So it's going to cost you $42 in total to get the police clearance done. If you select a different consular post than where your passport was issued, then it might cost you a little higher, let's say $55–60, and your total fee will be $75 US. Okay, so then you'll hit continue. Okay, and this is where you will provide your mailing address. Okay, so just type in your address real quick, validate. Once you're done with your validation, click on submit. So once you click on submit, you'll get to this page where you have to accept the terms and conditions and confirm application. Okay, so once you confirm the application, this is where you will have to make the payment. Enter your credit card details and then make the payment. So once you make the payment, then you will receive an email in your inbox with information about your confirmation and a courier label from FedEx. you will use that courier label to send in your application packet to your consulate for your verification. Okay, so once you're done with your payment, then the next step is to get the checklist of the documents ready that you will send to the consulate. Okay, so you will receive the checklist in your email along with your courier label, but I'm just going to provide you a document right here. It's linked in the description below, so you can get the checklist from that list. You can simply Google PCC VFS checklist. Okay, so you'll need a government application online form, original and must be printed on the portrait format. So this is the form that we just filled out on the passport website. So you'll have to print this form out, stick your passport size photograph on that form, and then send it in the application packet. Then you'll need 2 photographs, passport size photographs, apart from the photo that you will already paste on your government form. Okay, the color photocopy of your proof of address. So this is the address where you are currently residing in the US. Okay, so anything will work, a driving license, utility bills, your lease agreement, but a color photocopy. Okay, then you'll send a photocopy of your Indian passport, and which you will sign by yourself. So you don't have to mail in your actual passport. You can simply send a color or a black and white photocopy of your Indian passport. Just make sure it is signed and dated by you. Okay, and then finally you'll send your color photocopy of your valid status in USA, and you don't have to get it signed or anything. And this would be your F1. This could be your H1B visa, whatever visa you are in the US right now, a color photocopy of that visa will be required. Okay, and then you will send a fee payment proof that you made the payment to VFS, which would be on your email, and print of this checklist signed here. So print this checklist out, sign it, and attach it with all these documents in your application packet, which you will then send to the address which is listed on the courier label. Okay, so once you send this, then you come back to this page and you will be able to track your application on this page. So it gives details about post receipt of the application. So you can read about this here. Upon receipt of your application, they will be updated and you will receive an email notification. So once you send, wait for a few days before they receive your application, then you will get an email notification and you will then get a tracking number. Okay, so you will be able to track the process of your application under the VFS Global portal. So you can just log into this portal and track your application progress anytime you want to track it. And it will also be given to you via email or SMS if you provide that option in your application. Okay, and one more quick thing. If you log into the VFS Global portal, if for any reason, for security reason, they don't send in the courier label in your email, then you log into this VFS Global portal, get to this page, and then under download courier labels, enter your government reference number, which would be on your form, government passport form. Enter that label, enter your passport number and enter your email ID, and then you will be able to download your courier label from this page. Okay, so use this page to download your courier label, stick it on the application packet, make sure it covers all the documents listed on the checklist here, and mail in your packet. Okay, and then in a few weeks you will receive notification about the progress of your police clearance certificate. So they may send that packet to you physically, but they may also upload it online for you to download from this portal or in your email for you to access directly. Okay, and let me show you what it looks like. So this is what your PCC from India is going to look like, and then you will download this or scan a physical copy if that's what they send to you and upload it to your IRCC Express Entry profile. Okay, and that will complete your police clearance requirements from the USA for FBI and for police clearance certificate from India. Okay, so now we are going to look at how to get your PCC when you are in India. Okay, so the scenario we can imagine here is, let's say I am in Canada right now and I'm sponsoring my wife who is in India. So she will need a police clearance certificate from India to submit alongside of her permanent resident application under family class. Okay, so this is what we are going to be discussing in this section. So the first thing you do is get to this website, passportindia.gov.in, Passport Seva, and I'm going to link it in the description below. So click and follow along. Once you get there, the process is pretty similar to the Indian Embassy passport service that we just used a couple of minutes ago. So you will have to create an account, you will get a link to verify that, and then you log in using that link. Okay, so just click on new user registration, and this is where you will provide your details, your passport office, your date of birth, login ID, password, and your security answer. Okay, very straightforward. Once you do that, then you will get a link in your inbox going to look something like that. Click on that link to verify that email and account. Once you are done with that, then come back to this page and it's going to show something like this. Thank you for confirming your registration. All right, so then you click on home. All right, so once you've done that, then you will log in using your credentials. Then once you've logged in, you will get to this page, and under applicant home tab, you will find the apply for police clearance certificate option. Okay, so select that. And this is where it's going to ask you two alternatives. You can fill the application form online, and you can actually download the soft copy and fill it offline and then upload it. So just do the online thing, it's quicker. This is where you select your details, the state that you lived in India. This is where you provide your passport number, and the rest of the details are pretty similar: issue, expiry, place of issue. This place of issue would be the place where your passport was issued in India. Country for which PCC is required, this is where you will select Canada. And purpose for which is required, you'll select immigration purpose other than citizenship. Okay, click next. And this is where you provide more personal details, and I'm quickly going to skim through this portion. Hit next, and this is where you provide family details just like you did in the VFS portal. This is where you provide your residential address, and this address should be the address that is also listed on your passport. Okay, so I'm just going to explain one scenario here which applies to me. So when my wife moved into my house, her residential address changed, but the address listed on her passport was the same when she applied for the passport, and that was her residential address when she was not married. Okay, so if the address in your passport does not match your current residential address, the police verification in India will take longer. Okay, so what I would recommend to do is to change the address to your current residential address after marriage, and this specifically applies to females because they will be moving into the new house with their husbands. And if you are a husband, then your address would most likely remain same. Let's say your wife is in Canada and you are continuing to live in the same address in India, then you don't have to do that. But if your husband is in Canada and you are in India applying for your permanent residency, it will only speed up the process if you change your passport address to reflect your current residential address before you do the PR thing. If you don't want to do that, no problem. There's another alternative. Get a updated Aadhaar card that reflects the new current address of your spouse. So let's say your husband is in Canada and you are in India living with your in-laws. Get an Aadhaar card which has the address of your in-laws. Okay, so that will be a document which will be required to complete this process of police clearance from India. Okay, so let's continue with this application. And then police station would be the police station you would select that applies to your district. And then it says, is permanent address available? Check yes. Is your permanent address same as the present address? So that's what we just went over. If the passport reflects the same address as your current address, then you will only need your passport. You don't need to update your Aadhaar card. But if it's no, then you get your Aadhaar card updated, because that is what you will need to take to the PCC center when you apply for your police clearance. Okay, so let's just check no. And then it says, please enter the following permanent address details if your permanent residential address is not the same as your present residential address. So this would be the new address that you will provide. Okay, just for the purposes of this video, let's go with yes. So this is all going to gray out. Then you will have to answer a bunch of questions here. Are there any proceedings? Very similar to what you did in VFS Global. So just check no quickly and move on. This is the place from where you are actually applying for this online application form. So I'm guessing you must be in India right now. So just mention the name of the city and today's date, hit I agree. And you don't have to enroll in the SMS service. You can if just to get quick notifications, but it's not really required. So hit submit form. Okay, so once you submit the form, then what you can do is you will have a application receipt available to you, and that application receipt is going to have your ARN. This is the same thing as we did in the previous steps when we applied for a PCC from USA. So you're going to use this ARN in your appointment form when you actually print out the appointment and take it to the center. So what you must do now is make the payment on the portal, and to make the payment you go back a step, you select your form, you make the payment and appointment. So this is where you will make the payment and appointment, pay and schedule, and you select your online mode of payment. So once you make the payment here, then you will have to book an appointment. So as soon as you're done making the payment, it's going to take you to another page where you will have to select what center applies to you and select the date of your appointment and then approve it, and then you'll get the printout of that appointment letter, which you will take along with your other required documents to that center to get your clearance certificate. Okay, and the documents you'll take is your current residential address proof, your Aadhaar card, your marriage certificate, and if your spouse has already applied for your permanent residence, then you will take that permanent residence application also. So the best thing to take is the receipt of payment to the permanent residence portal. You paid $1,000 already to the IRCC website, so take that receipt as proof that you have been applied for, you are being sponsored for at this point. Okay, so again, passport, proof of address, Aadhaar card, your application for permanent residence, your payment receipt for permanent residence, appointment letter from this passport Seva website, and your confirmation number. Okay, once you take these things to the PCC center, they will run that through their portal, and then depending on whether they need a police background check or address background check for you or not, they might actually give your verification to you right away in that day, in a few hours, or they might take a couple of weeks. In my case, what happened was I was in Canada and I was applying for my wife's sponsorship. So my wife in India had to go to a center to get her PCC done, and because her address in the passport was not the same as her current address of her in-laws, she was actually refused PCC at that point, and she was asked to first change the address. So what she did was she actually had her Aadhaar card updated with the current residential address, not updating her passport but updating her Aadhaar card with the same address as her husband's. Okay, and then she took the same document again, she had to make this appointment again, she had to go through the same process, make the payment again, it's about 500 rupees, and then she had to go to the PCC center again to get her police clearance, and then finally it took her 2 to 3 weeks to receive her police clearance certificate in the mail and also in her email with a soft copy, which then she sent to me, which then I was able to upload to her family class spousal sponsorship. Okay, so that is the process of obtaining your police clearance certificate when you are in India and are being sponsored by your spouse. Okay.